In 1914, Henry Ford did something that sounded insane to every other industrialist in America. He doubled his workers' pay to $5 a day. His accountants panicked, his competitors laughed, and then something strange happened. Turnover collapsed, productivity soared, and Ford's own employees became some of his best customers. That single decision became a symbol of an entire era, one where a rising economy was expected to lift the people building it. That era is gone. And the strange part isn't that it ended, it's how quietly it ended. Welcome back. Today, we're not just asking why paychecks feel smaller. We're following the money through boardrooms, balance sheets, and a century of decisions that quietly rewired who gets paid when the economy grows. The machine that used to share. For nearly 3 decades after World War II, the American economy ran on a simple, almost boring formula. When workers produced more, they earned more. Between 1948 and the late 1970s, productivity and hourly compensation climbed together, practically hand in hand. This wasn't charity. It was leverage. Roughly 1 in 3 American workers belonged to a union. Companies competed for labor almost as fiercely as they competed for customers. A single income from a steel mill in Pittsburgh or an auto plant in Detroit could support a mortgage, a family, and a retirement. It was an unequal system. Workers, women, and immigrants were often locked out of its full benefits by discriminatory hiring, redlining, and unequal pay. But for the workers inside the bargain, growth and paychecks moved together. Then, sometime around 1979, they stopped. The Great Decoupling. Economists call it the Great Decoupling. The moment productivity and wages stopped moving as a pair and started moving as strangers. The numbers are almost hard to believe. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, labor's share of national income, the slice of everything America produces that actually goes to workers' paychecks, has fallen to its lowest level since records began in 1947, dropping to roughly 53.8%. In 1947, that number stood near 70%. In 1990, it was still above 67%. Meanwhile, corporate profits tell the opposite story. Fortune 500 companies posted record profits exceeding $1.8 trillion in a single recent year, even as job growth slowed to its weakest pace. Outside an official recession in over 2 decades, so the pie kept growing. It just stopped being cut the same way, where the slices went. Picture the economy as a dinner table. For decades, when the meal got bigger, everyone's plate got a little fuller. Now the meal keeps growing, but only a few plates at the table are getting refilled. Slice 1. Shareholders. Starting in the 1980s, a philosophy took hold in American boardrooms known as shareholder primacy. The idea that a company's only real obligation is to maximize returns for its stock owners. Stock buybacks, once nearly illegal under SACE rules until 1982, exploded into a multi-trillion-dollar habit. Instead of reinvesting profits into wages or new capacity, companies began using them to repurchase their own shares, mechanically inflating stock prices for the people who already owned stock. Slice 2. Executives. Pay structures shifted from salaries toward stock options, tying an executive's fortune directly to the share price. The very number buybacks are designed to move. The result is a compensation system where cutting a factory's headcount and lifting the stock price can look, on paper, exactly like good leadership. Slice 3. Capital owners generally. Federal Reserve wealth data shows the top 1% of American households now hold close to a third of the nation's wealth, while the bottom half holds a sliver. When markets rise, that gap doesn't shrink. It compounds because most of the gains are landing in accounts that were already large. Slice 4. The lenders. As wages stalled and the cost of housing, healthcare, and education kept climbing, households didn't stop spending, they started borrowing. Every unpaid balance became someone else's income stream. The gap between what people earned and what life cost didn't close. It got financed. A global mirror, Japan's quiet warning. Look across the Pacific and you find a different but related warning. In the 1990s, Japan's economy stalled for what became known as its lost decade. Companies, terrified of instability, chose to protect profits and shareholder confidence by freezing wages for years. Even during periods of decent growth, Japanese real wages have barely moved in 3 decades. It's a preview of what happens when an economy prioritizes corporate stability over worker income for long enough. Growth can return and paychecks can still stand still. America isn't Japan, but the underlying lesson travels. Growth without redistribution isn't a temporary glitch. It can become the default setting. The automation question. Now add artificial intelligence to this picture. History offers a useful comparison. The mechanical loom didn't just displace textile workers in the 1810s. It also, eventually, created entirely new categories of jobs their grandchildren would hold. But eventually, hid decades of wage stagnation and hardship for the workers caught in the transition. AI raises the same fork in the road. If productivity gains from automation flow into wages, training, and shorter work weeks, workers benefit alongside shareholders. If those gains flow only into margins and buybacks, the labor share numbers we're already watching fall could fall further still. Automated efficiency without automated fairness. Which path gets taken isn't decided by the technology. It's decided by power, the same force that decided it in 1979. And in 1914, and in every era before that. The real answer. So where did the money go? It didn't vanish. It didn't get stolen in one dramatic heist. It moved slowly through thousands of small decisions. A buyback authorized here, a union contract lost there, a factory relocated, a bonus structure rewritten, until the direction of the whole system had quietly reversed. Money in a modern economy doesn't disappear. It flows toward whoever holds the leverage to direct it. For a few remarkable post-war decades, workers held some of that leverage. Today, most of it sits somewhere else. The paycheck was never just a number. It was always a reflection of power, who has it, who's negotiating with it, and who's simply hoping the system remembers them when the profits get divided. History suggests the table can be reset. It has been before, but it has never reset itself. It only ever moved when enough people at the table decided the meal should be shared again.